this situation. You kind of need to be on foot more than on a vehicle, but we'll try. We'll give it our best shot. You'll notice that I'm driving differently to how we would normally drive. There he is, right there. Yes. I love it when a plan comes together. Hello, boy. And you're not only right there, but you're posing more beautifully than we could even ask for. So I'm just going to try and go around a little bit. So at least we managed to find him, which is good news. And like I say, he's sitting looking more regal than you could ever ask for on top of a termite mound. Made our life very, very easy, that's for sure. Have a look at this. Wait, hopefully a marula doesn't fall on his head with this. Boy. Are you looking up in the tree as well, just to make sure? That's so cool. It's exactly what we wanted. So even though we had a bit of a tough time with tracks, they were kind of moving in the right direction, and we managed eventually to find kind of where he goes and managed to pick him up. Like I say, sitting perfectly out in the open. Isn't that beautiful? It's kind of idyllic is what you want when you think of a leopard in summer. This is often what you think of, is a beautiful termite mound, green grass. Are you going to get going now? Did we find you at just the right time, or are you going to move? We decided that's better. Okay. So we're going to get your bottom. Hold on, let's move forward a little bit. The nice thing is that we have a car that can move around. So even though he's showing us his bottom now, I wonder if he was watching me, because I was off the vehicle a little bit walking around. Maybe that's why he had spun around, and now that he's figured out, well, it's just us, he's not too concerned. I'm going to actually go a little bit further around, because otherwise we're going to have him heavily backlit, which is going to make life a little bit tricky. I think if we come from here, that's going to be a little bit better. Is that all right, Simple? I think that should be okay. Like I said, it is a little bit backlit, so we'll get a bit of a silhouette or a blown out sky, but should be all right. I was talking about it this morning, that you'll find that these cats are spending a lot more time sitting up on top of mounds and in trees now, because the grass is so long, especially if they're looking for food, or they hear an alarm call, or they hear an animal close by. These kinds of mounds are going to help with being able to see what's coming their way. If they sit down in the grass, it's very difficult for them to see what's coming, and they don't want to be caught off guard either by a predator or a prey animal that gets too close and they don't respond in time. So we're going to see a lot more of this in this summer, while the grass is still so long and so green and so full of parasites. A lot of the cats are going to be sleeping elevated, or particularly, like I say, leopards, and you'll find lions are going to be a lot on roads and riverbeds and anywhere where they can kind of be out of the grass but in some sort of shade. It's a common thing to see when you get huge amounts of rain. That was cool. It's been a while since I've tracked a leopard. Always nice when you manage to actually track them down and find them. Penelope is posing perfectly. It was better the way he was before, but we'll take it now. It's certainly not the worst pose that I've seen. He's kind of got his head down. He's going to fall asleep now. I think he saw me walking. That's why he was kind of propped up and looking in the direction of where we came. And now that he's realized, there's no one walking around, he's going to start to flop down. The sun is not that hot at the moment, so he can afford to be on a mound like this. And on top of that, there's a nice cool breeze that is blowing. So he'll be nice and cool up there and be able to just take it easy and kind of rest and not have to worry too much about the heat this afternoon. Didn't make it easy though, did you, Tingana? Well, actually, he did make it easy. If it wasn't for all the vehicles that had driven around, it would have actually been a fairly simple tracking exercise. It's not like he walked that far. Strong legend. So differences between the leopards is pretty easy once you see them a lot. If you haven't seen them a lot and you don't see leopards regularly, it can be a little bit tricky. They all probably look the same to some people. But the easiest way for when you're starting out and learning is to start to understand that they have unique spot patterns. So every single leopard particularly above the whisker line. So if you see on his face, he's got whiskers, and then just above that, he's got a whole set of spots. Now, those spots are spots that are used. You're going to kind of use them and count them just above the whiskers, and that will give you a number, which would be able to tell you which leopard it is, because that's unique across all leopards. You'd also use the spots above the eyebrow. They have unique spots above their eyes, and then on their body, like Tingana, he's got a little smiley face on his left shoulder. That helps you identify him. But for us, it gets to a point where we see them regularly enough that we recognize just ear structure, facial feature, size, eye color. All these things will help you from a distance. Remember that most of the time we're not seeing what you're seeing now, which is this very highly zoomed in image of his face. Most of the time what we see is either a tail or a side profile or a head in the grass, and so you start to learn to understand the dynamic of their body shapes, their facial structures, and much like you would be able to identify, I don't know if you own a pet, a cat or a dog, or even a fish, you would be able to identify your fish, cat, dog, slash whatever animal you own, if you do, as being yours as opposed to somebody else's. And it's the same with these guys. We see them regularly enough to understand that they are different and that they all have a slightly different appearance from afar even, and that helps us to be able to kind of ID them. But the spot pattern is really the scientific way to do it, long story short.